I am ready when you are.
Let's do it. We have now come to our final session. It has been an amazing day of learning and growth. We've watched some wonderful presentations, and I think we're ending on a very high note. I might be biased, but that's just what I think. Our last engaging session is entitled The Digital Divide Implications of Adult Learning. As always, if you have any questions, and we love questions, put them in the chat or the Q&A sections and we'll get them answered. So to close out our final minutes with you, I'd like to welcome to the virtual stage Michael Evans of the KLC and Dr. Tony Woolfolk Barnes of WMU.
Thank you very much, Lisa. And I've been looking forward to this. I finally get to say something about this symposium at the end of our day. I appreciate each and every one of you for learning with us throughout the day. And between me and Dr. Woolfolk Barnes, we're hoping to leave you with a message to show how important you are to what we are seeing in adult learning, even in these unprecedented times. First and foremost, for those of you who stuck it out, thank you so much. And hopefully we'll be able to give you something so that you don't need another coffee shot or a Red Bull or all those other things, including Skittles, that we've been hearing about during the course of the day. So the first thing, and I hope that we've been able to make this case pretty clearly during the course of the day, virtual learning is possible even during these incredibly unprecedented and crazy times. Learning is especially important for adults at this point, now more than ever. And I want to go back and just think about what could have happened instead of what did happen. When the pandemic hit, there was a lot of things that got shut down. If you remember, it was like walking on a post-apocalyptic zombie day where nobody was out. And for those who were, it was just so spooky. And learning got really quiet, particularly for adult learning. I imagine the same thing happened with our partners at Osher Lifelong Learning Institute, but there had to be the courage to continue. And for those of you who are virtual tutors and our partners across the state, in our region, we were able to demonstrate that it's possible. And because of that, we have found that there are really new things and implications that have come. We have found that you could have people who are tutoring from home that might not be able to drive in the wintertime when it's slushy on the roads. We've had it so that zip codes no longer matter. We have tutors from outside of the state, Pennsylvania, Australia, Florida, California, simply because we had the will to continue to learn. And we wouldn't be able to do this if we didn't have all of you who are on this call and many more who are willing to change their perspective just a little bit to say, let's make sure that virtual learning, particularly for the adults who need us most, is possible. So thank you very much for that. Now, yeah, right? I mean, it's the same thing for you, Tony. I'm pretty sure that was the thought that you had. I'm on the Osher Lifelong Learning Institute fan club for life. So we know it was similar for like that as well.
Exactly. Go ahead.
We're going to talk about some of the facts that we are all contending with, and Tony's going to take it away for lifelong learning. Adult learning is a form of lifelong learning, and you heard before that lifelong learning is what all of us aspire to do. But the need is real, and all of you and many more are the answer. So just review so that you know how important that you actually are. 196,000 adults in our great state of Michigan. The mitten is full of people who need learning services. These are adults 25 and over who need to be enrolled in some type of an adult ed, some type of an ESL, basic literacy program. 196,000 across our state need us. They didn't stop needing us simply because the COVID-19 pandemic happened. They needed us even more so. 55,000 just within the Southwest Michigan area, the 8-county region that we're in, also known as Region 8. 55,000 adults lack a high school diploma or a GED. And we know just in Kalamazoo County alone, 11,483 of them, 25 and over, lack a GED or a high school diploma. And of them, 3,303 haven't even gotten to 9th grade yet. So they need us by the numbers across Southwest Michigan. 25,000 adults in Kalamazoo County are at the lowest level of literacy. 25,000, that's 1 out of 8, 13% of our adult population 18 and over need our help. And across the country, when we got into the situation where the way to learn was virtual, we were hit with the very sobering fact that there are 32 million adults in the US who are not yet digitally literate. So the thing is that we knew that these needs existed, but without having volunteers and ESL instructors and navigators and partners who were committed to it, we were not going to be able to meet the need. I'm so proud of us as a community, us as an organization, and all of you that you leaned into this so that just because a pandemic that hit us happened, learning did not need to stop. But learning is a lifelong learning experience. And Tony's going to bring you through what it looks like from her side of this equation.
Hello, everybody. I appreciate having the opportunity to interact and engage with everyone, even in this virtual platform. So Michael asked me if I would kind of speak to why personal learners or people pursue lifelong learning, and then what are the benefits. And so one of the things I thought I would do first is, before I jump into the statistics, I just want to give you a definition that I personally love about lifelong learning. And it says that lifelong learning is more than just education and training beyond formal schooling. A lifelong learning framework encompasses learning through the life cycle from birth to grave and in different learning environments, formal, non-formal, and informal settings. And so I like that we can operate from that same definition, at least for the next few minutes. And so some of the statistics basically speak to the fact that 80% of personal learners or lifelong learners say they wanted to learn something that would make their lives more interesting and fulfilling. And one of the things I'm going to ask you to do as you look at these statistics, Michael, can you put the next one up there, is that, do you see yourself in these statistics? 64% of lifelong learners say they wanted to learn something that will allow them to help others. And when I saw that 64%, and it spoke to the fact that this was a group of individuals who want to help others. I mean, honestly, I'm talking to this, you are that 64%. You help to make up that 64%. You help to make up that 80%. This one is very telling, particularly as we think about the virtual environment today. 33% of those who were surveyed said they wanted to learn things that would help them work with their school-aged children, grandchildren, or other children in their lives. And so I was talking to a hairstylist a couple months ago, and she was saying that she has grandchildren in our local school district, and that she needed to do some things to make sure that she would be prepared to help her daughter so that her daughter could continue to work, and so that her grandkids could continue to be educated. This is exactly what we're talking about when we talk about you and the impact that you're having. Michael, I think it's one more. And 60% of adult learners, or those who are interested, or lifelong learners, say that they've had extra time on their hands and they want to pursue interests. Now, I'm going to tell you, I'm not in this 60%. I don't have extra time on my hand. But the reality is that the majority of you probably don't have extra time on your hand, but you're committed to making a difference. And so I just real quick, I want to say that one of the things that I thought about is that, and Michael has kind of probably seared this in my brain, is that we are all lifelong learners, whether we do it directly or indirectly. And I use the cell phone as an example of that. Some of us know what to do with that cell phone, others don't. But either you play with it and you figure it out, or if you have an Apple phone, for example, you might drive to Grand Rapids and go to the Apple store and take a short course, or they will train you. But the point is that we're all engaged in this. And we're engaged because it makes a difference in the lives of others. And ultimately, the way I think about it is that because it makes a difference in the lives of others, it's also impacting us personally too. So I just want to, so these are some of the reasons why people are involved in lifelong learning. Michael, if you don't mind, you can go to the next one. And so some of the benefits that are associated with lifelong learning, 87% of lifelong learners say that their activities help them to become more capable and more well-rounded. So the reality is that even though we know we have skills and talents, sometimes we don't always have that confidence, or we don't always believe that we bring something to the table, if you will. But the reality is that lifelong learners are saying when they are engaged, that they feel more capable and well-rounded. 69% said that learning opened up new perspectives about their lives. And to me, I think these statistics really resonate with me because of everything that's going on in society. But the thing about lifelong learning is that sometimes we learn things, and what we find out is that we continue to engage in learning. And what we learned may not have been correct, it may have been inaccurate. And because you're willing to engage in learning, that means you can learn different things, you can learn about different people. And so that helps to facilitate those perspectives. And honestly, if we really did this culturally, across this country, I just think we would just be a better country. But that's another subject. So, Michael, if you don't mind, 58% said it made them feel more connected to their community. And the last one says that 64% say that learning helped them to make new friends. And so, unlike Michael, I need notes. And so a couple things, the benefits of lifelong learning, particularly when we think about the population that I work with, the majority of these people have retired. They've been fulfilled because of their careers. But the benefits is not that you're just engaged in this lifelong learning, but there are some physical and some mental and emotional benefits to being engaged in lifelong learning. What we hear is that those individuals that continue to be involved in lifelong learning, it impacts brain health. From a socialization or a social aspect, a lot of times, particularly our lifelong learners who have retired, they are no longer in the workplace. They may not be as connected. And so it allows them to find their space in the community, and also to make a difference. Social isolation, sadness, and depression, it is very real. But in this virtual environment, if you will, in this COVID environment, what we're seeing is that there's a lot of depression. People are just not knowing which way to turn or how to cope. And when we know that people are engaged in this kind of learning, it does impact just their overall well-being. So those are some of the things that speak to the benefits of lifelong learning. Michael, you can go ahead.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and these are great benefits, but I want to pause here because sometimes people like to isolate or segregate or silo different types of programs. Tony has said that we are all lifelong learners, but the benefits that we're talking about that she shared, these are the same benefits that come from our learners. They are engaging in our services through tutoring and classes, and they are becoming more capable and more well-rounded because of the work that you're doing. They are opening up new perspectives because of the classes that they're getting involved in, learning from each other, learning from their tutors, learning from their instructors. New possibilities are happening because of that. Mm-hmm. And despite not being able to leave the house when they want to, they are still becoming connected. We've had birthday parties and Halloween parties and celebrations. So the community is still there. It's just different. They are making new friends, just like all of you who are making new friends through this and other types of activities. These connections are happening through the process of learning and learning together. And yes, people are getting promoted into this idea of volunteers. And I say promoted because to me, that is an upgrade to go from a job that you have to do. And I love my job every day, but to be able to do this because you want to do it, our volunteers, they are finding that learning with their learner is another way to be able to learn. Oftentimes you might hear that a volunteer tutor would say, I've learned more from my learner than they've learned from me. It's because all of this is lifelong learning. And the thing that we're trying to leave you with is that the work that you are doing is so profound in this time. You are actually helping people to be better in a time where everything's sick. Our economy's sick. The environment is sick. The politics are sick. And we have COVID-19, which is the epitome of sick. And yet all of the work that you're doing is making so many people well, including yourselves.
Exactly.
So the thing is that we know that adult learning and lifelong learning are happening now, despite what we have seen. We didn't stop, we just changed. And our whole role has been, how do we go from transitioning to this great Osher Lifelong Learning class? And this is them at Sarkozy Bakery. And I've taught a couple of classes at Osher Lifelong Learning Institute. But the same thing with our classrooms that we'll have either at Kalamazoo Adult Education or Goodwill Industries or ESL of Southwest Michigan or Michigan Works and all across the state. How do we transition from being together and learning like this to learning off of this? We know it's possible. And at least for the adult learning side, I hope that you've been able to see that that is true. Tutors have testified during the course of this day, I'm still connecting with my learners. Learners are saying that this is working for me. In some cases, even better. What? I don't have to get into my car that I don't have, spend money that I don't have for a gas tank I can't fill. This is working for me. I'm not saying that it's necessarily better, but it's different and it's possible. And we want you to continue to step into this work. And then the lifelong learning side, Tony, how are you persisting over at the Osher Lifelong Learning Institute with these classes, transitioning from the in-person into the virtual?
So when the university, well, we are hosted by the university. And so when the university, really when everything shut down, obviously we shut down. And that was in March. And we pivoted to online. Our goal was to offer, for the summer of 2020, we were going to pilot 2 online courses. That was written into our strategic plan. Be careful what you ask for, because we were a third of the way, so we still had 2/3 of the way to go. We had to cancel courses, and because we had never done anything virtually, in the summer we only offered 10 courses, and we probably had maybe less than 100 of our members who took classes. But the fact is that they were willing to do it. So this fall, we offered 24 courses and we have over 300 members. That's still low in comparison to what we're used to. But the fact is that people were willing to do it. So we pivoted to online, but I feel fortunate because I work at Western. I've been able to benefit from the support of the technical folks. But the beauty about our volunteers is that they have been trained, they moderate courses, our instructors who are volunteers, some of them said, I'm willing to teach my class, move it to online. I just need some tips, some strategies. I need to be trained. So what we've incorporated over a short period of time is we moved, and even our committee meetings, we have not missed one committee meeting. We have 9 committees, 5 that are pretty active, and we meet monthly. Our advisory board meets 4 times a year. We had a meeting today. Our executive committee meets monthly. So we've moved that all to online. We've even hosted events, a going away reception. Today we had an event where we learned about Layla's Cool Pop. Some of you may be familiar with that. But the point is that we are trying to find ways to engage with our members. And I guess the last couple of things I want to say about this is that this has allowed us to collaborate with other OLLIs across the state. There are 4 OLLIs in the state of Michigan, and we're doing programming so that all of our OLLI members or Osher Lifelong members will come together and they can learn with OLLI members from across the state. So that's just an example of how we have made progress, and we will continue to. So we're not going backwards. When we come out of COVID, we are going to resume face-to-face because so many of our members want that. But we will continue to have a virtual component because this has allowed us to reach out across the country, not other countries, but within the United States. We have seen members or individuals who have joined us, purchased memberships, and they have engaged with us. And so I want to say, and in the process, some of them have become volunteers with us. We had an event not too long ago, OLLI Cares, and that event, and when we talk about people wanting to volunteer and to make a difference in the community, that's another example of OLLI and the Kalamazoo Literacy Council coming together, because our volunteers had an event, asked for donations for 6 agencies across Kalamazoo, and the Kalamazoo Literacy Council was one of them. They were able to volunteer and to make a difference. So it's a lot of things that really come into play as we think about the work that all of us are doing. And so I won't say anything else, but I just want to say thank you. And we have to keep going. And if nothing else, we have to know that the work that we're doing is impacting lives, is impacting the community, and we are equally impacted because we benefit and we really reap the rewards of what we do.
So the thing is that we are really trying to make the case, but also celebrate the vision that we all have had and all of you have participated in making virtual learning possible. Now, we were tutoring in libraries, coffee shops, churches. We had classes that were in school buildings. We've had separations of different types of services that we used to have, such as at Michigan Works or even at Goodwill Industries. But all of you and many more have said that we are going to continue to make sure that virtual learning is possible despite these challenges. On the adult learning side, this is critical for those individuals who absolutely need these services. Without them, they will be stuck away from the opportunities necessary to achieve employment, be those better first teachers for their children, being able to manage their health at home, even being able to just be able to access services or understand what the world is looking like, because most of what's coming to us, you're reading it, you're hearing it, and it's up to them to be able to have the literacy skills, the digital skills, the job force skills, the language skills necessary to be able to be empowered to persist in this environment. And in lifelong learning, as you've heard, we're all on that same arc of learning. It's just different now. But it will be impossible if we weren't all committed to the idea that we can still learn in this environment. Whole purpose of this symposium was really to give a lot of perspectives about what virtual learning looks like and being realistic that there are real challenges, but also understanding that we do have ways to be able to overcome them, to be able to continue to learn despite the challenges and make progress despite a lot of the thoughts that maybe we couldn't. We had to get past some of the myths. Well, I don't think that I can tutor with my learner because my learner has never used a computer before. You heard from our navigators, we can do that. We will be with you every step of the way, even if you don't understand us in the same language. We had a bias. Well, many of our volunteers, they are seniors, and a lot of seniors won't want to necessarily work with, they are running laps around us and many others by mastering technology, leveraging it, and still connecting. So we're debunking the myths that are out there, that it's not possible. But the only thing that makes it possible is all of you. So we thank you very much for that, but we want you to continue the journey. There are forums that are in front of us that we can still join. And I hope that some of you will continue to participate. Those ESL forums, the health literacy forums, the workforce literacy forum, we have a navigation work group, there are a parent literacy forum. This is where you get to learn how you can make a difference even more so from this partnership that we have. And some of our volunteers have taken some lifelong learning classes to help them to be able to continue learning. Maybe you can continue to do that as well over at the Osher Lifelong Learning Institute as we continue to grow and learn together. And when we emerge on the other side of this COVID-19 pandemic, we'll see that we learned through it and learned something about ourselves and our capability to continue to persist despite the challenges. So on behalf of the Kalamazoo Literacy Council, I certainly would love to extend thanks to all of you who are here, but also to the partners who made this possible. This was not an easy thing, and it was one of the things that we had to make a decision first. Would we have a symposium again this year, and would we want to do this virtually? Yes. And can we get it so that we have the support necessary? Our community foundation made it so that this great Whova app that we've been on and connecting with wasn't going to break the Kalamazoo Literacy Council bank. So we thank them. And Pro Literacy, they have recognized that literacy councils and partnerships like this, community and university partnerships, are important. So much so that their very busy CEO, Kevin Morgan, said he wanted to come by and say thank you. And on the Western side, Tony, you've been able to be part of those voices of all those different interests at Western Got to give a special shout out to Lisa Garcia, who's been a moderator, but my partner in crime from the very beginning in pulling this symposium together. Thank you so much, Lisa. Anything you have to say, Tony, as it relates to your other Western interests and how important it is to work with something like this?
Well, so I just want to say we want to make sure that we're conscientious, and we thank the Business Connection Center, College of Health and Human Services, the Lewis Walker Institute for Study of Race and Ethnic Relations, the McGinnis Reading Center and Clinic. The nice thing is that over the years, you can see how the relationship between Western Michigan University and the Kalamazoo Literacy Council has grown. And one of the things that I think that Michael and I both are committed to is making sure that this relationship only gets stronger. We just had a conversation about that yesterday. When I came into this role, Michael welcomed me with open arms, and his vision is just infectious. And so I know that us being able to work together in the role that I have at Western, I'm hoping that it will truly make a difference for both of our organizations, but particularly the Kalamazoo Literacy Council. But I do have to say thank you to Lisa. The work that she does, and she really is, a WMU face who plays a significant role in this work. And I won't call any other names. I was thanking people today and I left somebody out, and I feel real bad about that. But I do have to say thank you to all of the Kalamazoo Literacy Council team members, because you are phenomenal. And we've thanked everybody else. And I know Michael's going to thank you all, but this would not have been possible without you and Jesse and Keto and Lisa. You know, I've been texting you and emailing you all day about this Hoover app and Zoom and when and what time. And so I just say, thank you so much. This has been phenomenal. You have done a phenomenal job.
So as we wind out this session and continue to extend what I'll say is 1,000 years of undying gratitude, and so it's not going to run out, or at least we won't be able to experience it, that this has really been an important day for us. We really wanted to be able to demonstrate that we could come together, be serious about the idea of learning, and to make sure that everyone is equipped to continue that journey. So we certainly thank all of you, and we're looking forward to where things go next. But we do have a few more minutes left. I didn't know if there were any questions that we needed to answer. Oh, Sharon's on. Oh, wait, that's one person I am calling out. Sharon Wade. She's the one who coordinated that Ollie Cares event. And my son, who he takes care of all of our laptops. He's a computer science engineer, major at Western. He went over to the former parking lot of Big Lots, and there's Sharon and there's Tony, and they sat out there all day. And at the end of the day, all of these supplies and materials were donated by Ollie members. Over 200 people are going to be able to receive those supplies, and we don't have to pay for them because people did that. But it was because Sharon, a volunteer for both of us, Ollie and the Kalamazoo Literacy Council, coordinated that effort to make it possible. What happens when we come together? Great things. And so thank you so much, Sharon. You put the little chat there. You're certainly one of many heroes here, and we're looking forward to another successful year as we get ready to run into 2021. Hopefully it's better than 2020. They gave me a black eye. Any questions from anybody or final thoughts?
There's just a lot of notes of thanks to everyone, and to all the presenters, and to you and to the staff. Just everyone's been very pleased with the symposium, and they're just happy about another great year.
Well, thank you all. It is Friday, and for some of you, you're like, whew, it's time to go. I would say the same thing, but I have some deliveries to make and a mission to continue. So thank you all. And we look forward to seeing you shortly at forums, and if not, definitely next year.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.
So I imagine, Jesse, there's going to be some kind of evaluation that people will get or something. I forgot to say something like that. Please fill it out if you get it. But we look forward to seeing you next time. funny as people leave, the boxes get bigger. Great job, Keto, holding down the back end of this thing and sending links to people and everything else throughout the day. Pretty cool. And Jackie, I'm so glad that all of you as navigators took that presentation over. Couldn't be more proud.
Thank you. Yeah. Wow. What a team effort. We are small but mighty, I always say.
That's the one job I won't quit.
That's great.
Yeah, I love this job every day, even on the hard ones.
Yeah, that's great. I'm really happy. And I'm glad everyone else is too.
All right. Well, I got a delivery to make and
All right.
a weekend to plan for.
Sounds good. We can close this out. Thanks, Jesse. Thanks, Lisa. Who else is here? Bye, Paula. Bye, Marcia. Bye, Janet. Bye, Josh. Okay.
Bye, everybody. Have a great weekend.
Bye, guys.